Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, everybody coming in. We are going to go over the arrest affidavit for Barry Morphew. I'm going to cover this and start showing it until we've got to go live for the Chad Daybell matter, unless you guys just want to stay on this, but it's pretty lengthy and I think it's going to take a little bit more time than what we have right now. But we will go over it all. I do have another live coming up at 3:15, so I want to get going on this. Hello, 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 everybody. So I'm going to jump right into this, you guys, and hopefully we can get through most of this. Okay, so can everybody see this okay? And can everybody hear me? If you can hear me and see this, please let me know in the chat. Hello, everybody. I'm going to try and get through this as much as I can, you guys, in one sitting. Because I do have a live coming up at 3:15 to cover the Chad Daybell, where the defense is asking to sever his case. Okay, so all's good, so I can start. I'm going to jump right into this, you guys. I won't be watching the chat. I want to get through as much of this for you guys as I can. This just came out like 3 minutes ago. Okay, so here we go, you guys. I'm going to jump through this mumble jumble here. This is just some information regarding Barry and the order to arrest him. Okay, you are hereby commanded to arrest Barry Lee Morphew and take him without unnecessary delay before the nearest judge. So that's just the mumble jumble. Let's get into the arrest affidavit. Okay, so here we go. This is the affidavit for the arrest. And this is all just mumble jumble. The officer who wrote this arrest affidavit, he's just giving you his credentials. And we will jump into right where it starts getting interested with all the information. Okay, he's just giving his credentials here. Okay, so here we go. We're going to jump right in, starting, you guys, like right here. Okay, this is going to where it's going to start. And sorry for my cough. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay, so Suzanne took clear, accountable steps in January 2020 in attempts to separate from and divorce her husband, Barry. She told her family and close friends about her intentions, secretly recording her notes of abuse in her phone because Barry monitored it, confronted Barry in arguments that she secretly recorded with help from a friend, and finally sent him a text 4 days before she disappeared saying that she was done. Let's handle this civilly. Barry, however, initially represented to investigators from CBI, FBI, and CCSO that his marriage with Suzanne was perfect, that she had no intention of leaving him. Barry's statements about his actions on the days before and after Suzanne's disappearance have been proven to be false. Sorry, you guys. I've been doing a lot this morning. If you guys haven't been following in my comment section where I post things, I've been following what's going on at Brian Laundrie's place. I've been following on 4 different devices and 3 or 4 different news outlets. So I've been really busy all morning. Okay, so it's stated here that he knowingly destroyed evidence. Okay, where is it here? Barry, however, initially represented. Okay, we read that. Okay, so he gave false and misleading statements to the investigation. Barry knowingly destroyed evidence that his relationship with Suzanne was deteriorating and that he was involved in her disappearance and homicide. Suzanne's bicycle and helmet were recovered close to the Morphew residence, discarded before Barry left town in the early mornings of May 10th. The investigation to date indicates that these items were not indicative of an accident, an animal attack, Suzanne being a runaway, or Suzanne committing suicide, or being a victim of a stranger abduction. All records checks available to the FBI and local law enforcement indicates as of April 30th, 2021, that Suzanne has not used a credit card nor her social security number, nor has she been contacted by law enforcement, not flown in on an airplane, not crossed any national borders, not established utilities or housing, nor otherwise continued in her normal pattern of life for over 355 days. Based upon legal supposition, Suzanne Morphew, based on this lack of proof of life, is deceased. Within a month or so of Barry moving Suzanne and their daughter from Indiana to Colorado in April 2018, Suzanne sent a Facebook message of a howdy stranger to her high school friend, Jeff Libler. Suzanne and Libler, who resides in Michigan, began communicating regularly through 2018 and eventually began meeting each other in 2019. Suzanne traveled to meet him in New Orleans, Indianapolis, Dallas, Michigan, and Florida, where they eventually had consensual sex. By September 2019, Barry took clear steps to determine if Suzanne was having an affair by stalking her at their own residence in Salida, Colorado, as witnessed by Suzanne's closest friend, Sheila Oliver. In January 2019, Barry took Suzanne's phone from her while they were in a resort in Mexico while she was talking to Libler, but he was unable to determine Libler's identity. So he did know of the affair. On May 8, 2020, Suzanne saved in the notes section of her phone that Barry accused her of having a boyfriend on May 6, 2020. On May 9, 2020, Suzanne's last proof of life occurred at 2 p.m. hour when she messaged Libler with a selfie while Barry returned to the residence. Suzanne did not respond to Libler's return message at 2:44 p.m. and 2:46 p.m., the same time Barry admitted to running around their property with a gun and placing his phone in airplane mode at 2:47. The computer activity, the telematics from Barry's Ford F-350, the activity of his cell phone, and statements he made to law enforcement in multiple interviews confirmed that from 2:47 p.m. on May 9th until 5:37 a.m. on May 10th, he took steps to dispose of evidence of Suzanne's disappearance and death, create a false alibi for himself, and stage a crime scene. In recent months, following the presentation of evidence by FBI agents to Barry, he has changed critical details about his activities in the 2 p.m. hour of May 9th in attempts to match the evidence. Since January 2021, Barry has admitted to chasing a chipmunk with a gun around the house while Suzanne was outside sunbathing, shooting a deer with a tranquilizer dart to explain a dart or needle cap in the dryer, disposing of the tranquilizer solution during his trip to Broomfield, following a bull elk down Highway 50 in the 4 a.m. hour on May 10th to explain why his truck would be headed west, where the helmet was discarded, and finally stating to the FBI on April 22nd, 2021, that he looks guilty from the evidence and God allowed these things to happen. Barry's involvement in Suzanne's disappearance and death can be organized into the initial scene and interviews in Section 1, Suzanne's affair and her attempts to leave in Section 2, Barry's early statements to CBI from May through June 2020, Section 3, and the evidence recovered by law enforcement, Section 4, witness statement, Section 5, and Barry's statements to the FBI in 2021, where he tangibly describes what happened to Suzanne when he has shown evidence in the case in Section 6. The following case hypnosis was prepared for this affidavit by Eurofan and the assistance of FBI Special Agent S.A. Jonathan Grusing. This affidavit was edited and reviewed by S.A. Kenneth Harris and CBI agents Joseph Cahill and Derek Graham. The affidavit includes footnotes that denote critical deceptive statements and inconsistencies by Barry that are addressed later in the affidavit. Section 1, the initial scene. On May 10th at approximately 5:58 p.m., CCSO Deputy Damon Brown was notified by dispatch to contact Scott Ritter, later correctly identified as Martin Ritter, by phone regarding a possible missing person who also has cancer. Dispatch further informed that the missing person was named Suzanne Morphew and that her husband Barry was driving back from Denver and did not have cell service. when in fact he was at his hotel in Broomfield with cell service. So there's going to be a footnote too. You can see it right here where he lies about this. Martin Ritter reported to Deputy Brown that he was contacted earlier by telephone by Suzanne's daughter, and they redacted that, was attending college at Western State University in Gunnison, Colorado, and did not reside at the Morphew residence. I believe this is Mallory, explained to Martin that she was concerned because she could not reach Suzanne via telephone or text. I believe, again, that's Mallory, asked Martin to go to the residence and check on Suzanne. Martin's wife, Jean Ritter, proceeded to the residence but could not locate Suzanne, so Martin contacted Barry via telephone. Martin further stated that Barry told him that he also could not reach Suzanne either. Martin told Barry that he did not locate Suzanne at the residence, nor could he locate her after searching the immediate area. Barry instructed Martin to call 911 and advised Martin that he was on his way home. Martin estimated to Deputy Brown that Suzanne went missing between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. that same morning. Interesting. So Deputy Brown attempted to contact Barry at 6:05 p.m. without success, then again at 7:10 p.m. when he spoke with Barry. Barry stated that the last time he saw his wife was at the residence at 5 a.m. that morning, May 10th, when he got up to leave for Denver for a landscaping job. Suzanne was still sleeping and Barry did not speak with her. Barry advised the deputy that Suzanne had recently gained an interest in mountain biking and began mountain biking on a regular daily basis. Barry advised that when Suzanne would bike, she would wear a turquoise in color bicycle helmet and a windbreaker jacket. No other description given of the windbreaker. He described that Suzanne had also had an iPhone, which she would take with her when biking. Barry asked that Suzanne was going through cancer treatments, and he provided Deputy Brown with her phone number when Deputy Brown requested it. Deputy Brown and Sergeant Molyneux drove to the Morphew residence and turned into County Road 225 from U.S. Highway 50 at about 7:31. They drove slowly, looking along the steep incline along the shoulder of CR 225 for the bicycle. Deputy Brown turned the corner. He saw a blue mountain bike down near the ravine close to the bottom of the hill with the front tire pointing downwards toward the creek. Sergeant Molyneux accompanied Deputy Brown to investigate the blue Santa Cruz mountain bike. They saw no indications of a crash. As Deputy Brown noted, the vegetation around the bike was not flattened in the area where a human body would have landed. There was no blood around the bike, nor was there any apparent damage to the bike. Due to the steepness of the incline, the bike should have been damaged if an accident had occurred. When Deputy Brown moved the bike up to the path, he noticed that the front brake pad was seized and the handlebars were turned completely to the left, causing the brake cables to wrap around the bike frame. Deputy Brown and Sergeant, whatever his name is, examined the dirt shoulder of CR 225 immediately above the area where the bike was recovered and did not observe any braking marks, skid marks from a bicycle. So here's the footnote that we talked about up here. In a separate interview, Martin Ritter told FBI that Barry said he was at a work site with workers present. Lie. When he received the final call from Martin, Barry also told CBI agents multiple times that he was at the Via Vera work site in Broomfield, Colorado when he received the call, and that he had to drive to his hotel to drop off his tools for workers. The Broomfield hotel video, however, disproves those assertions by Barry. The hotel video showed him actually never leaving that motel room from around noon until he left to go back to Salida or the Puma Path home. Okay, so here is the photo of the bike. This is the first time we're seeing the photos. Deputy Brown examined the front rim of the bike tire and he observed no damage to the rim or spokes, which he expected to see if the brake had locked and the weight from the rider who would have been going headfirst over the edge. Deputy Brown wrote, after all these observations, I started to question if something criminal had occurred, as it looked like the bike was purposely thrown in this location. Now, if you guys remember one of my first reads, I said I had gotten that he had drove the bike there in his truck and threw it. Okay, that was in one of my very first reads. Anyway, meanwhile, somebody's boyfriend, I believe this is Mallory's boyfriend, and they give his name, his father, Michael Harvey, and his sister arrived at the residence and assisted with searching the immediate area, finding no signs of forced entry at the door or any points of entry into the residence. Deputy Brown walked through the Morphew residence with somebody present. Deputy Brown observed that the residence was well kept and orderly, with the exception of one guest bedroom. Lady are identified as, I believe it's Mallory's bedroom. In that bedroom, the bed was stripped of the bedding. Deputy Brown observed in the master bedroom would appear to be one 22 caliber round of ammunition unfired on the floor next to the bed. He then looked under the bed to inquire where the said ammunition may have came from, and observed what appeared to be a rifle storage case. In the main floor foyer area of a storage closet, Deputy Brown observed what appeared to be a reddish brown substance that was smeared midway on the side of the closet wall. In the kitchen area, Deputy Brown observed a laptop computer and documents scattered near the laptop computer. In the three-car garage area, Deputy Brown discovered two white SUV vehicles, later identified as Suzanne's personal vehicle and, I believe, the daughter's personal vehicle. At the time of Suzanne's disappearance, Mallory and Macy were on a road trip traveling out of Colorado in somebody's vehicle. Therefore, somebody's vehicle was parked in the garage. Also observed that there were home surveillance cameras mounted on the exterior of the residence. Deputy Brown described that the placement of the mounted exterior cameras are ideal for viewing any persons or activity coming onto or leaving the Morphew property. Okay, so the footnote here is the reddish brown stain was processed by CBI laboratory and determined not to be blood. At 9:37 p.m., CCSO Commander Avila brought Barry into the house and advised Deputy Brown that they were looking for a piece of clothing from the residence for search dogs to locate Suzanne. Barry walked into the master bedroom and pointed to the clothing on the floor in the closet. Deputy Brown observed mountain bike gloves and padded shorts in the pile, and she took the pair of shorts. Deputy Brown was walking in the driveway when Deputy Jafiro told him that there were bare feet marks inside of the bucket on the Bobcat. Ooh. Deputy Brown went with him to examine and found that the cutting blade on the bucket of the Bobcat appeared to be newly replaced, along with the nuts and bolts. Sergeant Mullenix reporting. Sergeant Mullenix documented that he was present and Deputy Brown was speaking to Barry at approximately 7:10 p.m. Over the phone, Barry said that Suzanne rides her bike regularly and usually leaves between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Upon inspecting the bike with Deputy Brown, they activated his body camera, as did Deputy Brown. The bike appeared out of place. Sergeant and the deputy walked down to the ravine as they called out for Suzanne. They walked a few hundred yards along the ravine without finding anything of interest. Sergeant and deputy go to the Morphew residence while he stayed with the bike. Deputy Brown moved up to the road. Deputy Brown contacted dispatch as they had no cell service and asked for the local hospital to be checked for Suzanne. Dispatch informed the deputy that Suzanne had not been brought to the hospital. The sergeant asked dispatch to ping the number given for Suzanne's cell phone. Dispatch informed the sergeant that the cell phone appeared to be off and its last known activity was at 4:23 a.m. on the present date, with a general location of 11.5 miles west of a cell phone tower in Poncha Springs. While Sergeant was by the bike, I'm assuming somebody, approached and identified himself as the boyfriend of Suzanne's daughter, confirmed that the bike belonged to Suzanne. As the sergeant examined the bike, he found no scratches or damage to it. At about 8:42 p.m., Barry arrived on scene in his truck by himself, walked up and touched the bicycle and identified the bike as Suzanne's. So he made sure he touched that bicycle. Okay, so another sergeant here, Sergeant Claudette, contacted somebody on scene that same date, and he reported that somebody told him that Suzanne and Barry argue frequently. This person added that he was the one who introduced Suzanne to mountain biking about a month ago. He described her mountain biking skills as intermediate. When so-and-so, they blacked a lot of this out, you guys, was asked if he noticed anything out of the order in the residence, he described that the bedding from, I believe, Mallory's bed was stripped off the bed. Whoever this is thought that was strange because so-and-so does not live at home. So Mallory was not living there at home at the time, so there was no reason for that bedding to be stripped because she hadn't been sleeping in it. Also thought that it was unusual for Suzanne's bike to not have any damage if she had possibly crashed on her mountain bike. The sergeant next contacted somebody blacked out who stated that she had last talked to Suzanne on the night of May 9th. She had last seen Suzanne the end of April 2020 and advised that she had sent a text message to Suzanne wishing her a happy birthday on Mother's Day. A happy Mother's Day, not happy birthday, sorry, on May 10th, but Suzanne had not replied. She also tried calling Suzanne, but the call went directly to voicemail. At that time, she received a call from Barry asking if she contacted Suzanne. So-and-so advised him that she attempted to, but was not able to reach her. Barry asked her to let him know if she was later able to reach Suzanne. So-and-so stated that Suzanne mountain bikes regularly during the afternoon hours, not in the morning, often using a wide trail across the highway. Suzanne normally took her cell phone, sunglasses, blue backpack, hydration bladder on the bike rides. When so-and-so was asked if there were any concerns with her parents' relationship, okay, so this is one of the daughters, was asked if there was any concerns with her parents' relationship, she denied any concern or issues. When asked if there was any reason why Suzanne may have left the area, she denied that Suzanne would ever leave for an extended amount of time. She also denied any recent incidents or concerns between Suzanne or anyone else. The sergeant then spoke with so-and-so, and so-and-so reported that she had last seen Suzanne on Tuesday when she and so-and-so left on the road trip. She reported last exchanging text messages with Suzanne on May 9th. So-and-so stated that Suzanne works out at the gym regularly and that recently it's taken up mountain biking. So-and-so added that Barry had mountain biked with Suzanne a couple of times. I need a sip of my coffee, you guys. Okay, so-and-so denied any marital issues between her parents and described their marriage as very loving. May 11th interviews. Sergeant spoke with so-and-so on, I'm just going to say so-and-so when names are blacked out. Spoke with so-and-so on May 11th, and so-and-so confirmed that Suzanne wrote religious devotionals in a journal. When asked to describe her bedding at the Morphew house, so-and-so said that her bed was always made, her sheets and pillowcases are light blue in color, and that her comforter is brown and reddish. The sergeant spoke with so-and-so on May 11th, and so-and-so admitted that her parents argued a lot. So this is the two different daughters now. Admitted that her parents did argue a lot and that she feared they would separate or divorce. She said that they were not doing well and that it was for the best that they would separate. So-and-so reported that Barry and Suzanne were both in an unsafe place emotionally. Sorry again, you guys. So-and-so stated somebody and my dad are different people, and they, Suzanne and Barry, argue. And I mean, they get in fights, and I don't know. They both have just not felt safe at some point. So-and-so added that Suzanne and Barry weren't getting along and it discussed divorce. When so-and-so was not discussing if she ever seen any texts on her parents' phone, she advised that she does not ever look at the messages on their phones. When so-and-so was asked if there was a possibility that her mom may have left home because she did not feel safe, so-and-so said her mom would never leave her. So-and-so later said that if Suzanne would have left, she would have contacted her and her sister and let them know she was okay. So-and-so explained that she and her sister so-and-so were heading back home on May 10th with their friend Blah, but there were no plans for Blah to stay at the Morphew home after the trip. Okay, so that goes against what Barry tried to say about Suzanne was going to wash the bedding because Mallory had been sleeping in the bed and they were going to have guests. Well, it just said right here that there was nobody coming to stay at the Morphew house after the trip. And don't forget, we're in the middle of COVID here. So in the footnotes here, Suzanne's daughter, okay, or somebody was an iMessage text that Suzanne sent at 13:58 saying stunning in response to someone's photo to some photos that Macy or Mallory had sent to Suzanne. In multiple interviews, the FBI in 2021, including on 4/22/21, Barry denied that he and Suzanne had discussed divorce, but that's been proven false. This statement by, I believe, Macy contradicts Barry's repeated assertions to CBI that he deleted arguments between him and Suzanne on his phone because he said his daughters always look at his phone. So the daughters have said they don't look at their parents' phone. So there's more lies. I'm going to try and get through this, you guys. So I'm not going to hit the footnotes. I'm just going to try and get through this. Somebody said Suzanne always carries her cell phone with her and had a charging cable on her nightstand next to her bed. The sergeant spoke with Jean Ritter, who confirmed that somebody, I believe Macy or Mallory, I believe this is Macy because you can see a Y here, contacted her and Martin Ritter via telephone on May 10th at approximately 4 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. because she could not reach Suzanne. Macy asked them to go to the house and check Suzanne, and Jeannie went to the house. She did not locate Suzanne at the house, so she called Barry and told him what happened. Barry asked Jeannie to look for Suzanne's bicycle and called 911 if she didn't locate Suzanne. Jeannie returned to the house a second time, but once again, she could not locate the bicycle or Suzanne. After Jeannie returned to the home the second time, Martin called 911 to report that Suzanne was missing. Martin sent Jeannie back to the Morphew house once more to leave a few notes posted for Suzanne in case Suzanne returned. Okay, so the Barry Morphew interview. In the early hours of May 11th, Detective Burgess and your offendant interviewed Barry Morphew. Barry explained that he left his residence at approximately 5 a.m. on May 10th to travel to Broomfield, Colorado for a construction job. He did not speak to his wife, Suzanne, that morning because she was still asleep when he left. Barry stated that his daughters were to return home on May 10th from a camping trip. Barry said that he texted his wife to wish her a happy Mother's Day and did not get a response, possibly due to poor cell service at their residence. Barry said that he tried to text her again later that morning, again with no response. Barry reached his daughters via text messages, and they also stated they could not reach their mother. Barry specifically provided his route of travel to Broomfield, and in all subsequent interviews with CBI, Barry never stated that he turned west on Highway 50. Barry explained that his wife's plan for May 10th was to clean the house and to get the spare bedrooms ready for their two daughters coming back with possibly a friend to visit. Yet, we just heard that the daughters said nobody were coming to visit. Barry said that so the bedding would have been cleaned because Mallory wasn't staying there. She had been away at college, so there was no reason to change her bedding, which was changed. Barry said that his wife rides her mountain bike every day. He added that Suzanne was diagnosed with cancer twice in her life, and she has beat it. Barry said that he owned firearms. All the firearms and ammunition are stored in a locked gun safe in the garage, but we seen earlier, which was noted in this affidavit, that there was a gun case under the master bedroom bed. So he says that they were all locked in the safe in the garage, but that's not true. And so was the ammunition, yet there was ammunition in the bedroom. It should be noted that on May 11th, while law enforcement searched the Morphew residence, 2 firearms were located at the residence that were not inside the gun safe. A high-powered rifle was located in a closet on the ground floor in a closet. The rifle appeared to be spray-painted in a camouflage pattern, and for your affiant, could not locate a serial number. A Benelli 12-gauge shotgun was found laying against the wall in the garage. Also, a loaded .22 long rifle cartridge was located, laying on the floor in the master bedroom near the right side of the bed. After your fan ended the interview with Barry, he was told that law enforcement was going to seize his truck to process it. Okay, so it should be noted that we do know that the charging cable was not found. About Barry's phone, you guys can read this after if you want. He never mentions going left on Highway 50, which his GPS showed that he did. And that's where her helmet was found. Okay, so on May 11th, pursuant to an authorized search warrant obtained by your affiant while assisting with the search of the exterior of the residence, your affiant located what appeared to be suspect blood on the apron of the garage near the east side of the 3-car garage. Additionally, it was noted by your affiant that the other investigators that there was a bobcat skid steer parked in the parking area driveway of the west of the Morphew residence. Next to the skid steer was a flatbed trailer. The trailer was in its tilt position. The trailer bed had some loose gravel and dirt on it. The trailer did not have a jack on it, and the tongue of the trailer was laying on the ground. The skid steer was parked to the left side near the trailer tongue. The items were positioned such that the skid steer bucket appeared to have been used to unhitch the trailer from a vehicle, most likely Barry's truck, and set the trailer on the ground. Your affiant examined the skid steer and noted that the cutting edge of the skid steer bucket had been recently replaced, so there was no wear on it. It was also noted several larger bolts and nuts were laying in the skid steer bucket and on the front end of the trailer bed, so it had been changed. Suzanne's helmet. May 13, 2020, search teams located what they believed to be the bicycle helmet Suzanne would have been wearing. Investigators located a photo of Suzanne prior to this date with Suzanne wearing the helmet, documented its teal color. The item was located on the following GPS coordinates. They give the coordinates approximately 0.84 miles northwest of the site of the bicycle, where the bicycle was located, approximately 10 meters south of Highway 50, and about 1.52 miles from the Morphew residence. Inside the helmet, law enforcement located a piece of paper in the top portion of the helmet with Suzanne's name, phone number, and address, as well as Barry's, probably Mallory, and Macy's phone numbers. The item was collected by law enforcement and placed into evidence. Okay, so here's the footnote there, where Barry stated that he had an inconsistency with one timeline, adding that I was only because when I just didn't know what time it was. He had to do something mechanical to his bobcat, whatever. So here's a map of where they found the bike and where they found the helmet. This is the Morphew home up here, sorry. So the bike was found here. The helmet was found over here. And this is the way. Barry would have came this way to go to Broomfield. He would have turned right, but he turned left. That's on his GPS. There was no reason for him to turn left there. There's no way he went that way to get to Broomfield. Sorry, you guys, I have an alarm going off here. That's to remind me of my live in half an hour. So, okay, so there's no reason for him to go this way. That did not lead him to where he said he was going in Broomfield. That leads the total opposite direction, and that's where he went first. And this is where the helmet was found. And then he was seen coming back and going to Broomfield. This is where the bike was found. On May 13th, search teams still searching areas in the proximity of Suzanne's bicycle and helmet, as well as law enforcement driving roads in these areas, attempted to locate Suzanne. During this effort, law enforcement located what they believed to be fresh tire impressions and a piece of cloth with a reddish-brown unknown substance on it. Also located in the area of the piece of cloth, tire impressions were located. These tire impressions were casted on May 14th by deputies with CCSO. As of the present date, these items appear to be unrelated to Suzanne's disappearance. Crime scene report. FBI special agent provided the following experts regarding the interior of Barry's F-350. On May 12th, the interior of the truck was cluttered with several personal items. The interior dash area was dusty and dirty. Regarding Suzanne's white Range Rover on May 19th, there were personal items to include Suzanne's driver's license and credit cards throughout the vehicle. Items from the interior were pulled out by sections or areas and photographically documented in butcher paper. Some of the items collected included a woman's jacket, a knit cap in the rear, pairs of sunglasses, and a key in the glove compartment, a camelbacks and sunglasses in the front passenger seat, spa chemicals on the front passenger floorboard, and a Scott bicycle service receipt on the front driver door. So the interior condition of Barry's truck conflicts with the subsequent statements to the CBI and FBI that the purposes of his 5 trash runs in Broomfield were to clean out his truck. Okay? So these are just pictures of Suzanne's bike and bike helmet and what she would be wearing. You see the water thing here, the camelback, her helmet, her glasses, and what she would have been wearing. Regarding the tranquilizer dark cap on May 19th, a plastic needle cover was found located in the dryer drum. This was collected by the CCSO along with additional items and swabs from different areas. The needle cover was recovered with the sheets from the bed inside the dryer. That is very telling. So that thing was placed in there. Oh, God. Okay, I just want to get through this, you guys. As you can see by here, if you look over here where I'm pointing, you can see how long this document's going to be. Excuse me. So we are going to have to stop this at about 10 after 3, so I can go live for the court appearance for Chad Daybell. But we've got about 25 minutes. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay, section 2, Suzanne attempts to leave Barry and her affair. Suzanne told numerous close friends, her daughters, and Barry that she wanted out of her marriage, yet Barry refused to listen to her. She suspected Barry of having affairs for years and kept her affair very secretive to protect her daughters and the family of Jeff Libler. A small portion of interviews and evidence of her attempts to leave Barry and the affair follows. Sheila Oliver. On May 11th, detectives conducted a phone interview with Sheila Oliver, Suzanne's best friend who lives in Indiana. Sheila had constant communications with Suzanne via text messages and Snapchat messages until Saturday, May 9th. Sheila said Suzanne promptly checks her Snapchat messages, and Sheila was worried that Suzanne did not read 3 Snapchat messages from her on May 9th at 6:40, 6:48. Suzanne had been very excited about the wedding of Sheila's daughter on May 10th. And Suzanne was helping Sheila prepare and eager to watch it online. Sheila provided text with Suzanne with the following: March 25th, Suzanne asking something, care of myself physically in a stressful marriage. Somebody and I had a very long, tough talk yesterday. She's weary of the tension here. She knows how he is toward me and almost begged me to divorce him. So I believe that's Macy. Sheila, what does he want? Have you talked any more about splitting? Suzanne, he threatens, but I never come out and I said I wanted it today. He thinks I'm holding on till after Macy graduates at least. He probably thinks I'm not strong enough to do it given finances. Suzanne, she something even mentioned a restraining order. So that is Macy. I'm sick. I had conversations like that with my 16-year-old. Sheila, he's nuts. Suzanne, it's Jekyll and Hyde again. Pretty much told him I can't be healthy and stay in this. Sheila, what did he say? He threatens to come back. He threatens to come home and pack. Suzanne, he won't speak of divorce, begging for another chance. I'm so torn, but my heart, I know who he is. During the interview, Suzanne also told Detective Burgess that she was so concerned with Barry's behavior that she purchased a spy pen for Suzanne, which she gave to her in January when she met up with Suzanne in Florida. The device was designed to record conversations. The downloaded audio files of the spy pen conversations will be summarized in Section 4. Sheila told FBI agents in 2021 that Barry called her in the summer of 2019 when Suzanne was in Michigan, asking why Suzanne was not returning his calls. He stalked Suzanne and Sheila at the Puma Path House on September 2019 to see what Suzanne was up to, sneaking through the woods, and of earlier accounts in Indiana when Barry suspected Suzanne may have had a boyfriend before they got married. Melinda Beaumonk interview. Linda Beaumonk was interviewed by FBI May 19, 2020 at the FBI office in Knoxville, Tennessee. Beaumonk is a sister of Suzanne and last talked to her on Friday, May 8th via text message. Beaumonk sent a text to Suzanne on Mother's Day on May 10th and received no response. For the previous 6 months, Suzanne had texted Melinda and had told her things were getting tense between her and her husband, Barry. Beaumonk advised that Suzanne told her that she had come to realize what a narcissist her husband, Barry, was, and that she had come to terms with his narcissistic ways. Beaumonk described Barry as one who lives a double life, a liar, an adulterer, a bully, one who has to have control, cunning, fools people a lot, loves money, and treats his wife and daughters as trophies. That all come out in my reads, you guys. Wow. Beaumank advised that her sister Suzanne was a codependent person and was very dependent on her husband Barry. They lived a phony life and would often put on a front as if they were happy. Beaumank thought that it was unusual for Macy and Mallory to take a road trip on Mother's Day weekend, especially with the coronavirus pandemic. Beaumank advised that she received a phone call from her father, who lives in Michigan, on Monday, May 11th, to tell Beaumank that Suzanne was missing. On November 20th, 2020, Agent Grusing spoke with Beaumank about the message Suzanne sent to her on Friday, May 8th at 9:28 a.m. It's hard dealing with the harsh abrasiveness of having to show respect. He's also been abusive, been abusive emotionally and physically. There's so much. I went through a period of acceptance, and I feel more angry now, anger that at what I've allowed. Womack told Grusing that she did not have context for why Suzanne texted on May 8th that Barry was physically and emotionally abusive. She had not discussed those things with Suzanne and was surprised to see that text. When Beaumont found out on May 11th that Suzanne was missing, she said, damn it, damn it, damn it, to herself because she was certain that Barry killed her. Beaumont described years of Suzanne being a submissive housewife to Barry in Indiana, allowing him to control their finances, and Suzanne's longtime suspicion about Barry having affairs. Beaumont said that Suzanne loved Barry and wanted to be a good wife and mother to the two girls. Beaumont thought that the primary reason for the move to Colorado was Barry's long-term desire to move there for hunting. She thought Suzanne threw caution to the wind and moved in an attempt to save their marriage and start over. Beaumont provided documentations that Suzanne inherited approximately $208,000 from their mother, Adrienne, passing away in 2013, and another approximately $217,000 when her grandmother-in-law, Helen, passed away in 2016. On July 7, 2020, okay, so these are notes from Suzanne's phone. On July 7th, 2020, computer scientist Brian Turner recovered a file from the return of search warrant on the Apple phone for whoever's phone. This file appeared to contain notes that Suzanne wrote herself in her Apple account on or before Friday, May 8th. The attachment shows that the notes were backed up to iCloud on May 8th at around 7:01 a.m. to 7:03 a.m. C.S. Turner retrieved the notes that contained 60 lines of apparent issues Suzanne had with Barry. Excerpts from these lines include the monkey app, physical abuse, mental abuse while drinking, NYE, name calling, said I only need for money, women on Facebook, good for business, lies about deer, pants unzipped, trip to Colorado, pen on hand, wear bear claw, FaceTime in Arizona, angry, stalking Sheila and me in house without telling, lied and said you needed phone to call Casey, chased me around resort and threatened, took my phone, not safe alone with you, can't be trusted, oppressive, slams on brakes when angry. Wow. So these are some of the notes. Threatened to jump out of car, gun, shame and guilt daily for not meeting expectations, nothing to do with infidelity, everything to do with your character and who you are at core, your lack of control over me, insecurities, a sick relationship, situation with somebody when I'm in, accused me of going behind your back, got up and left me, blow somebody and me at the table, left plate, no comment, just to watch TV, act like I'm intruding in the garage, verbal abuse, writing checks for cash out of business account, wiring money from investment account without asking or discussing it with her, money's in your name only, money is in his name only. This is premeditated, you guys. Pulling and hurting her, left 2 times on treatment weeks, bedroom profession about marrying, having babies, and sleeping together, don't care about pregnancy possibilities, hot tub talking to himself, accused me of boyfriend and something, wrote in Al-Anon book, I knew I was looking at phone in bonus. Okay, so message to Barry. Pursuant to an authorized search warrant, Barry's Verizon phone was searched by an examiner who found an image that Barry likely swiped the message off his screen, and the swiped image was inadvertently saved. This message was not recovered separately in Suzanne's phone or Barry's phone. The image appears to be a message from Suzanne to Barry. The date of the message was May 6th. I'm done. I could care less what you've been up to and have been up to for years. We just need to figure this out civilly. And then it looks like he replies, that's the something. We don't see that. The BF stands for boyfriend. Okay. Upon the recovery of Suzanne's spy pen, S.A. Grusing and S.A. Kenneth Harris began prioritizing anyone named Jeff in Suzanne's social media, phone records. I'm just going to try and skim through this. You guys can read it if you want. I just want to get to the points here. Okay, so on the pen, Suzanne talked to an unknown male named Jeff while she was in Florida. After months of investigation, working through the list of about 20 or more Jeffs possibly associated with Suzanne, Jeff Libler, former high school friend of Suzanne, was identified and interviewed. Libler gave the following information. On November 4, 2020, Grusing and Harris spoke with Libler on the phone and recognized his voice as being the voice on Suzanne's pen recording. After discussing his relationship with Suzanne and Libler talking about their secret meetings, he asked to continue the interview in person. He said after he learned about Suzanne going missing, he figured there was no way she's alive. He said that he is not proud about not coming forward, giving reasons to agent that he has 6 kids and a wife and he will lose his job. Libler said that when this happened, he thought Suzanne was abducted, so he kept quiet. He stated time went by and he did not want our girls to find out. He does not think Barry knew about him and Suzanne or what set him off, rather than the fact that the guy could be easily set off by anything, you know? I'm sure you guys know that. Libler said he did not feel like he had anything to add and did not want to hurt anybody. On November 13th, Grusing and Harris interviewed Libler in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Libler said after Suzanne's first message of howdy stranger. Okay, so this, we've heard all this, you guys. So you guys can read this, pause it and read it if you want. But this just goes with what we've already heard about how they first met. Says Barry and Suzanne were a couple, but Barry was not. Okay, so they went in the summer after Libler's first year of college. He attended a party with some friends. Barry and Suzanne were a couple, but Barry was not at the party. Libler said he and Suzanne kind of hooked up. Not really. At the party, Libler played golf most of the day, almost daily. At the time, Barry worked on the golf course. Barry found out about Libler and Suzanne's hooking up at the party. Upon seeing Libler on the golf course, Barry jumped off the tractor and he was ready to beat me down. Libler told Barry, you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose everything. Libler talked him out of it, and that was the last interaction Libler had with Barry. Libler said he did not talk to Suzanne until 2018, following that night in Indiana. He explained, I'll tell her to carry a torch for her. I tell her I carried a torch for her all the time. Libler and Suzanne used FaceTime to communicate. In 2018, though Libler's daughter saw one of their communications in late 2018, and Libler told Suzanne they had to stop. They did not speak until around Christmas of 2018, because Libler deleted Facebook, Instagram, and all messaging between him and Suzanne. Around Christmas 2018, Suzanne found Libler's LinkedIn. Okay, and we've heard about this. You guys, like I said, you guys can slow this down and look at it if you want. And it doesn't look like we're even going to get a quarter of the way through this. So there will be multiple lives with me bringing this to you. Okay. Around Christmas 2018, Suzanne found Libler's LinkedIn account and sent a message with the words to the effect, I'm worried sick about you. Are you okay? Libler responded to the message and they began talking again. At first in the platonic way. Then the relationship progressed again. Libler said communicated through FaceTime, but did not physically see each other in 2018. Suzanne said Libler communicated regular from late 2018 through May 9th, 2020, and she provided him with numerous reasons why she wanted to leave Barry between February 2019 to February 2020. Libler said Suzanne met each other in New Orleans, Florida, Indianapolis, Michigan, Dallas, and again in Florida. During the last 5 trips, they stayed in hotels, talked and shared meals, and had consensual sex. Libler has not traveled to Colorado to see Suzanne, partly because Suzanne said Barry has surveillance cameras around the house. Libler said, here's what she told me about a relationship with Barry. Not good, lots of fights, very argumentative. He felt it was horrible for her health mentally. Libler asked Suzanne if she felt afraid Barry would hurt her, and she answered he would never cross that line. He's learned of Libler took that to mean something happened physically one time to Suzanne, whether Barry shoved her or hit her. Agents asked Libler when Suzanne first said she loved him. He replied she told him that in 2018. They discussed that they were soulmates and meant for each other. They eventually exchanged words of love to each other. Libler explained that they were soulmates because of their approaches to the world and to people. Libler said that Suzanne treated people well, not simply for social stair climbing or status benefits. Libler was striving to be that type of person. He stated that he was not a good person, though he was horrible for having a relationship with Suzanne. When agents asked Libler how Suzanne took steps to be careful about Barry, knowing her travel activities, he said when Barry called her, Libler left the room. This happened once in Suzanne's hotel room in New Orleans. Agents asked Libler what other steps they took to conceal their relationship from Barry. He responded, "We talked all the time about protect for the kids, for family, all that stuff." Suzanne knew when Libler was going to be working in his car, and he never initiated conversation with a phone call or a text. They communicated through his LinkedIn account in 2019 to determine when they could FaceTime. Agents asked Libler if Suzanne ever spoke about leaving Barry. He said Suzanne's plan was to get out of the house and to call and for somebody to out of he said Suzanne's plan was to get, I believe, Macy out of the house and to college before Suzanne would probably go on her own. Libler said Suzanne talked about one day being together. She told Libler this was not about him, it was about her getting away. He said Suzanne was not happy mentally, she could not take it, and it was wearing her out. Libler had corporate LinkedIn account, and he created a second account to use to communicate with Suzanne. They stopped talking on the phone in December 2019. Libler deleted his second LinkedIn account after Suzanne disappeared when he thought she was abducted. Libler says, "I didn't want her legacy to be that she had an affair with this guy." Libler and Suzanne stopped talking over the phone in December 2019 because she told him, "We can't use the phone anymore." She said, "Barry watches everything I do, and I'm afraid he's going to find out." Suzanne mentioned an incident where she was on the bench in Mexico listening to her music on her phone, and Barry was suspicious of her. Libler said she started handing her phone over to him and told him, "Do whatever you want, go through it." Libler said Suzanne used WhatsApp because they could talk and leave messages there, but with no phone record of it. Libler did not think there would be call records of them talking past December 2019. So I'm going to get through the rest of page 15, you guys, and then I'm going to stop. And then we will continue this after, hopefully after my live, that I'm going to go live and bring you the stuff from Chad. I just got to write what page number I'm on here. I'm going to be bringing you that live. It will be over the court stream, so you'll be able to see what happens there with the Daybells, Chad Daybell asking to have his trial severed from Lori's. So let's just get through this page here, and then I will be taking a short 5-minute break. I've been talking nonstop and been on this nonstop since this morning. I will do that live with the Barry Morphew, with the Chad Daybell hearing. Once that's done, I will jump on and do as much more of this as I can, and then it will have to be carried on possibly tomorrow. Whew. Okay, so Suzanne mentioned, okay, we did that. Libler and Suzanne used WhatsApp. Okay, so in October 2019, Libler had a sales meeting in Dallas, and Suzanne was traveling to Phoenix. She left a day early and went through Dallas, staying at the same hotel Libler stayed at, the Galleria in North Dallas, with the ice rink inside. They spent 2 nights at the hotel together. Suzanne was going to the Phoenix conference to become a certified fitness instructor with the mindset of, what am I going to do if I leave him? She talked to Libler about Barry's moods and anger, saying as long as he gets what he wants, everything is fine. Libler said he and Suzanne had a mutual understanding not to dive too much into the problems that they were having with their spouses. Libler knew Suzanne had discussions with, I believe, Macy in March or April 2020 about separating from Barry and getting a divorce. Suzanne told Barry, I just want peace, explaining she wanted it to be peaceful for the girls. Okay, so we're going to end there, you guys. I'm going to take a potty break. It's much needed. I've been going nonstop since this morning. And then we will be coming back after the Chad Daybell motions hearing. We will be coming back and continuing. I will read this as much as I can until my voice goes. And then we will pick it up again tomorrow. Or I may just wait and continue this in another live starting early tomorrow. Let me just check my phone quick. Yeah, I don't have nothing tomorrow. So I may just continue doing this first thing tomorrow morning after I've had my morning coffee, because there is a lot to go through here, you guys. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Okay, I'm going to end it there. I have marked already this page where I ended, and that is where we will pick up in the next live. So I've got about 3 minutes, you guys. I want to, number one, thank all of my mods for being here for this. In about 10 minutes, I'm going live with the Chad Daybell hearing. I do need 5 minutes for a potty break and to make something warm to drink to soothe my throat before I start my next live. So with that, you guys, if I can, I will start up another live once the Chad Daybell hearing is done, and maybe try and get a little bit more of this out there to you guys. And if I don't do that, I will be picking this up with a live tomorrow morning, continued from where we left off right now. Okay? Yes, I'm not going to take... Hi, sweetheart. There's Pop Rocks. Yes, a sweetheart. I could probably do that. I don't know which way I'm going to go with it. It's going to be easier to do this all live. It's probably going to take me about 5 hours to go through the whole affidavit. So I don't have time to do that tonight and then bring it tomorrow morning. So I might just go live and go through it all. But we'll see what happens. And I said I did reply to your email, so it's there waiting for you, Pops. And what is this? Please stop, M. Riviera, please stop judging someone trying to be your wife and a mother. Yes. Any of my mods, please, absolutely boot. If there is anybody who is being disrespectful towards Suzanne or anything, or victim shaming, anything like that, boot them. That's it. They're done. Yeah, I'd like to know that too, because my mods are on here, and victim bashing and everything is not going to be tolerated. You are not going to just be muted for a few minutes. You are going to be banned from my channel. Point blank. I am not putting up with any of this. I've had a really rough week as it is. Pop Rocks and my sister can both tell you I've been grumpy as hell. I'm not afraid to admit it. And I have a very short fuse right now. I've had a lack of sleep due to asshole neighbors. And I'm saying that. Yes, I am. Which I'm lucky if I get 2-3 hours sleep a night, trying to live my life, trying to take care of my job that I have, trying to take care of YouTube. I went live first thing this morning before even having my coffee with all the stuff that is happening at Brian Laundrie's address. I'm trying to do my best for you guys. So please give it a rest. My mods have been told, anybody gets out of line, that's it. No more warnings, just boot them. So with that being said, you guys, I'm going to end this live because I've got my other live to jump onto in 5 minutes, and I do have to take potty break. I will see you guys all over there at the Chad Daybell live that is starting in about 5 minutes. Okay, so I'll see you guys all again. I will be continuing the affidavit. It is 131 pages, you guys, plus some. So I will get that again to you. Maybe we will do it again after the Chad Daybell thing is done. I don't know. I can't promise that, but I do promise if I don't do it after the Chad Daybell hearing, I will start it quick, first thing tomorrow morning, probably around 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. And we will start right where we left off in this one. Okay? Thank you to my mods. Thank you to all you guys being here. Until next time, please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. I love you to the moon and back. See you over at the Chad Daybell hearing in 5 minutes. Bye-bye for now.